welcome back to a brand new video. So let's have a chat about my weight loss journey today. And for those of you who don't know me already, hi, my name is San, nice to meet you. I have been doing social media for such a long time now. I think I started this channel like back in 2015, which is crazy now that I think of it. Like, that seems like such a lifetime ago. But this channel has always been about eating as healthy as possible, working out, living a healthy lifestyle, mental health as well. And I've always been, throughout all these years, very, very honest and open with you guys about my own journey and my own weight and my measurements, etc. So I think it's only fair to take you guys along with me in my current weight loss journey and explain to you guys how I went from this, which was me in 2020 and 2021, to this, which is me currently. And this might not seem like a huge change to you guys. Like, I know there are way more dramatic weight loss journeys here on YouTube, but for me, this change is huge, massive. Not only physically, but especially mentally. So if you guys are ready to hear my journey, I know a lot of you guys had questions about this. Keep watching. Let's get started. Wait, let's actually drink water first, because stay hydrated, that's really important. That's like step number one of a healthy life, hydrate. But big warning before we get started: if this subject is in any way, shape, or form triggering for you, please click out of this video. Then this is not for you. And then for those of you who stayed with me, let's get into it. So in order for this to make sense, I feel like we have to go back all the way to the beginning. So this was me in 2016. So as you can see from these really cringy clips, I used to be fairly skinny, and that was without having to work out or without dieting, which is my natural body type. And I actually got bullied for it a lot. It's not always fun to be skinny, even though I know it can also be a beauty ideal. So then fast forward to when I was like 21, I started modeling. And the modeling industry is obviously one of the industries that thrives on skinny people. Like, being as skinny as possible is a huge advantage. And unfortunately for the modeling industry, I wasn't quite skinny enough. So I moved to Paris, and then they told me, my butt was a little bit too big, my thighs were a little bit too big. And even though they tried to be gentle and say, it's only a little bit, like, maybe you could work out a little bit more, or maybe you could do a little less squats, I went a little overboard, I think, at that time, because I wanted to model so badly and I wanted to be successful at it so badly that I basically just, well, I didn't starve myself, I wouldn't go that far, but I definitely didn't eat a lot. And during that time, I was also struggling mentally a lot with a lot of personal issues, and that all definitely took its toll on my mental health and my physical health, because I was sad, and because I was sad, I didn't eat, and because I didn't eat, I got sad, and it was this vicious cycle. So then fast forward, I moved to Cape Town, where I was still a model. And there, a big shift started happening, because in the beginning, I was still, working out a lot and being very active and going outside. But then towards the end of my trip, I'm sure some of you guys remember this because I posted a lot about this, but I became very, very scared because of, the safety in Cape Town. And, there were a lot of issues that I just felt like it was better for me to stay at home and not leave the house, which was very toxic, because obviously not leaving the house is not very healthy for you. So I locked myself up and basically just worked behind my laptop and worked on my thesis a lot, didn't move, started eating my feelings away. I missed my family a lot, and I definitely gained some weight. On top of that, I also had trouble with adjusting to the climate and the food in Cape Town, so I had a lot of stomach issues. I was also dealing with a lot of bloating issues, which was horrible, water retention. My whole body started to change, and I just didn't know what was going on. And this was in 2019, and it continued throughout the years 2020 and 2021, where I also had to deal with lots and lots of hardships, a breakup that was really hard, COVID, obviously the lockdown, so many different factors. And this is where I want to, you know, inform you guys, help you guys. The number one key to weight gain and weight loss is your mental health. So some people, when they feel really, really down and really, really sad, they lose weight, like I did in Paris. Like, I was so sad that I couldn't eat and I lost a lot of weight, and yeah, that was horrible. But sometimes when you feel really upset and you feel stuck and you feel down, you start gaining weight. If you guys are struggling with your mental health as well, and you think that that contributes to weight gain for you, then the number one advice that I have is sort out whatever it is that makes you upset or makes you overthink or makes you down or whatever. And work on that. Work on that with a therapist, or work on it by writing down your feelings. That's something that I do very often. I have a diary. I write down everything in my diary, everything that makes me sad, but also everything that makes me happy. So I start every single morning with a gratitude list and write down immediately what I'm grateful for. And that improved my mental health so much. Then secondly, the sleep schedule. Well, I have to be honest with you guys, my sleep schedule is still not perfect. I still have trouble sleeping sometimes, but it has already gotten way better. And that is through actually establishing a specific, very specific routine. So you can do this in a bunch of different ways. I personally listen to specific types of podcasts whilst falling asleep. And I know that's like controversial because some people say you shouldn't sleep with earbuds in, but that's what works for me because it's comforting. I can listen to the same voice over and over again, and that kind of triggers my brain to go to sleep. What I also do is I use a sleep mask, which is awesome because it blocks the light, which prevents me from sleeping, but also because when I have the sleep mask on, I cannot look on my phone, which is a huge thing for me. I'm like always on my phone. And then you can also use like essential oils, like lavender essential oil really works. Also lavender tea before bed is something that I always do, which helps me tremendously. Then thirdly, of course, we have to talk about food because that's just basic math. The less calories you consume, the more weight you lose. That's just basic knowledge. So something that I changed personally is not the amount of food that I consume, because that's still about the same, not the same as when I was modeling, guys, but like the same as I always did regularly. So I always eat breakfast, which is usually yogurt with granola and a bunch of different fruits with a cup of lavender tea. And then for lunch, I have a sandwich with like hummus or like avocado or like garlic butter or a small salad. And as a snack, I usually have another piece of fruit like an apple. And then for dinner, I usually have like a rice dish or a pasta or like a big salad with like chicken or with beef, something like that. You guys know I have like recipe videos here on my channel, like what I eat in a day. I will maybe do an updated what I eat in a day soon, but that's kind of what I eat in a day. And then after 8, I don't eat anymore, but that's what I always kind of did. But the thing that changed is my relationship with food, because I used to eat food in order to feel comfort. So when I felt down, I was just like, okay, now I feel really down. Let me just eat my sandwiches and let me just watch like a series or a mukbang to make me feel better. And it did make me feel better in that moment. But what was so wrong about this situation is that at times where I felt really down and low and like extremely exhausted and just upset and down and just didn't want to live this life anymore, I started eating to feel that same comfort that I did. And then on those like very triggering days, I would overeat and I would not even enjoy the food that I was eating because I was so busy like watching this show or this series, but I needed to have food with it because that was like my comfort zone. Like that was my schedule that I had created in my head. That was my safe space. Like, oh, I have like a meal and I have a series and now I'm comfy and I'm cozied up in my blanket with my stuffed animals and now I'm gonna feel better. No, that's not the relationship you should have with food. Food is not there to make you feel better about yourself. Food is there to nourish yourself. And once you establish that kind of healthy relationship with food, you will feel so much better, and it will definitely help you if you are on a weight loss journey. What I also think helps a lot is using food in social settings instead of eating alone all the time. So, you know, when you're with your family and you're eating a meal together, you're more likely to actually enjoy the food and, you know, talk about the food and be present in that moment than when you're behind your laptop and you're just like eating away whilst working, which I do very often, which is so bad. Just try to be very present in the moment, which can be very hard to do it by yourself, because then you're just sitting there eating, like, what are you gonna do? But try to eat with people. If not with your family, then maybe with your friends. And that is something that I found out really helped me and my relationship with food. So besides the relationship with food, I think one of the major concerns when it comes to gaining weight, and what was also a downfall for me, were unhealthy snacks. So like I said, most of the time I just eat like an apple or a piece of fruit. But in the period where I was feeling really down and low, I would eat so many unhealthy snacks because I would crave sugar. So I just eat anything, like any sort of cookie or chocolate. And I don't even like that much, but I would just eat to like feel better, and it didn't work. So then I started eating more to feel better, and it didn't work, you know. So you're in this vicious cycle. So I think snacking is definitely huge. My biggest tip is just don't get it, don't buy it, because if it's not in your house, are you really gonna go out of your way to the grocery store when you're craving like a donut or something? And my kind of philosophy is, if you're craving something and it's not inside your house and you want it that badly that you go out of your house to get it, then you're allowed to have it, because then you really wanted it. But if you're just like stress eating and it doesn't really matter to you what you're eating, then take a healthy snack instead. So definitely don't punish yourself. If you really want something that's maybe not as healthy, go and get it, but don't eat it because it's like a habit. Then alcohol. So this also has to do with my sleep schedule. So because I couldn't sleep, in those periods where I gained a lot of weight, I would drink some alcohol before going to bed, which is really bad because that's not a solution. But for me, that was kind of the alternative to like taking medicine in order to fall asleep, which is not the way to go. There are so many calories in alcohol, and also it's just not healthy for you in general. So definitely, if you feel like food is not your comfort, but alcohol is your comfort, definitely also try to change that. And now I have like my cup of lavender tea, which feels way better. And then last but not least, working out. Obviously, working out regularly is so important, and I feel like I say this all the time, but please, guys, remember, if you want to lose weight, then it's so important to turn working out into a habit. And I don't care if you're a beginner, if you work out just for 5 minutes a day, but you have to work out every single day. And I know some people have different opinions, but this is my opinion. Work out every single day, so it becomes part of your routine, it becomes part of your schedule, it becomes a habit, because that's the only way you're gonna be consistent, and that's the only way you're not gonna skip workouts. Because if I do like 3 workouts a week and then I'm not really feeling it on like the 3rd day, I'm like, oh, you know, I can just skip this one and do it tomorrow. And then the next day I'm like, oh, you know, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then the next day I'm like, no, let's just do it tomorrow. And then the week is done already, and I've only done 2 workouts, whereas I promised myself I would do 3. So if you work out every single day and you just get on that mat, you don't even need to change. Like if you work out at home with my at-home workouts, just work out in your pajamas. I don't care, as long as you're on that mat and you promise yourself, I'm gonna work out for 5 minutes. And then you will start seeing that the 5 minutes become 10, because you're already on your mat, you're already doing your workout. You realize those 5 minutes aren't that bad. And even on the days where you feel so exhausted and 5 minutes is really the only thing that you can do, then at least you've done 5 minutes. So that's kind of my philosophy. And in order to help you out here on this channel, if you didn't know already, every single week we have a workout schedule. Every 2 weeks the workout schedule changes, so we do the same schedule for 2 weeks and then a new schedule 2 weeks. And so we work out every single day, except on Sunday. I put that as a rest day. Personally, I still work out, but I wanted you guys to have like 1 day off so that you don't feel like the schedule is too tight. Because I feel like that only puts so much pressure on yourself. That's not good either. So you can decide which day you want off. Obviously, I just chose Sunday because, you know, it's like a lazy, relaxing day. And most people are free on Sunday. But, you know, you can do it like me, work out every single day or work out 6 days a week, but that's the minimum. And then last thing that I also want to connect with this working out thing is walk. I have a dog, so I walk a lot. But if you don't have a dog, just go outside with your AirPods in, put on some music, start walking, incorporate working out into your daily lives. Because yes, a long walk is also a workout. What's also a workout is doing squats whilst brushing your teeth. What's also a workout is doing sit-ups whilst watching TV. Like, start moving more at like random times during the day and make small changes, like take the stairs instead of the elevator. And I know everybody tells you this, but in the end it will make such a difference. So that is it. That is my weight loss journey. I hope you guys learned something today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And then I want to thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already. I love you loads. Bye bye.